What's up, guys? I'm Joey with a Screenplay Extra. Now, we showed you guys a small clip from our interview with Mark Duplass and Charlie McDowell from The One I Love on this week's episode of Screenplay. But here's an extended look with JJ and the guys where they talk more about the movie, Season 6 of The League, and when Mark met Burnie. Enjoy.
All right, guys. Hey, we're joined today by Mr. Charlie McDowell as well as Mr. Mark Duplass, director and star of the film The One I Love. And we can't really talk about anything.
It was so nice meeting you guys. We'll see you guys later.
So let me ask about this approach. Now, I get it because I saw the movie, and I understand the whole going into it kind of not knowing anything, and it makes the film so much better. When did you guys make kind of a conscious decision to not really give too much of the movie away?
Yeah, we premiered the movie at Sundance earlier this year, and we pretty much assumed that as soon as it showed, critics would just like take a shit all over the press of the movie and just like tell everybody what happened. And so we're like, all right, here it goes. Everybody's gonna know what the movie's about. And something really interesting happened. The first couple of reviews came out, and the reviewers were like, really like this movie. I'm not gonna tell you what it's about because I want you to go in seeing it the way I saw it, which was not knowing anything. And we were like, that's really respectful and shocking. And so when Radius, the company who's releasing the movie, picked up the movie, they were like, should we try to keep this a secret? And we were like, that would be awesome. We assumed everybody was going to blow it, you know? And they put together this trailer that kind of hid everything, and a poster that has, like, you know, if you look deeply, a couple of secrets in there, but basically hides it. And more importantly, they tested the movie. One theater on the left had people who knew what you would normally know from a poster and a trailer, and one theater on the right had people who knew nothing about it. And it was just electric. The people who came out of the movie not knowing anything, they were like, they kind of had their faces melted off, and they were like, I'm so glad I didn't know this. And the way they were talking about it, so we're like, all right, let's try it.
So Charlie, you have a background kind of as an author. You grew up kind of around the film industry. When did you realize that you wanted to direct?
Well, I did at like 13. I became very like anti the business, and I wanted like nothing to do with it. And I think that was me just like rebelling against my parents and whatever. And I just kind of wanted to find my own identity. And so I was a surfer, and I traveled around surfing, and that was like my life, and kind of did the opposite of that. And then I started to make little surf movies with underwater housing. And then I did like a scene on the beach, and then a scene in the parking lot, and then I kind of made my way to land basically, and realized that it's something that I really love to do. And so at 18, I graduated, and then went to Chapman University Film School, and then went from there to AFI for directing, and then I was just completely hooked.
A lot of children who are kind of born into kind of famous kind of families, they try to shed that. But I saw that you did Oh Malcolm, which is a documentary all about your dad. Now, your dad, Malcolm McDowell, is famous for being Alex in Clockwork Orange. Now, it's more of a teenage angsty, like everyone kind of embraces that movie at a young age. Have you ever donned the eyelash? Have you ever dressed up like Alex?
You know, I did once, but it's funny because when I did it, my stepmom dressed me up as Alex one time, and I think I was like 10 years old. But the horrible thing is, like, I was going through a really awkward period then, and I was literally like a very pudgy 10-year-old kid. So I looked like this sort of like fat, bloated, like Alex. Like, you could see me in there because I look a lot like my dad, but it was just like a really like sad kind of version of it. And I have the photos, and like I look at them and I was like, oh, I don't want anyone to ever see these.
Very cringy.
Yeah.
So, Mark, you've kind of done a little bit of everything since you started kind of on the indie circuit with the Puffy Chair, Baghead, and all those back when they were called mumblecore movies. When did you realize that the films you were producing kind of started getting to that next level? Was there ever a moment when you were on set where you're like, wow, we're doing something different here?
Just now. I think the fact that are they on the next level? Are we next level? Is this happening? I made it. We were actually talking about this earlier. I never felt like there was a quantum leap in my career. Everything felt like kind of a slow, organic progression. I will say that, you know, things have changed certainly since I made the Puffy Chair till now, where we have this cool way of making movies where somebody like Elizabeth Moss will actually come make a movie with us in this cheap, fun way, which is great for many reasons, not only for how talented she is, but for the ability to get the movie out there, and people who love her will come see this movie, and that increases the eyes on the movie and increases the types of companies who will buy our movie. So, I mean, I'm really excited that we've got this little corner of the sandbox now where we're still maintaining our fun sort of arts and craftsy way of making movies with our friends, but now, like, we actually have, like, legitimate movie and TV stars who will come make these movies with us, and we can take them to, you know, more people. So that's a new thing for me, you know, that has changed since Thank the Puffy Chair.
Nice. So you've done comedies, you've done you had some small part in Zero Dark 30. So you've done kind of all over the place. Is there a film genre that you would love to tackle that you haven't been invited to yet?
Good question. I mean, I have this like intense love for, you know, like really fun 80s all-encompassing like action comedy movies, romance movies. Like, you know, to me, Romancing the Stone is like the shit. Like, it did it all, you know, and it did it with integrity, and things like Back to the Future, and I would love to be able to creatively be in a movie like that, but I also know what that comes with. And, you know, I've watched what's happening with Chris Pratt right now through like Guardians of the Galaxy, who's like, I think one of the coolest male movie stars we've had in a little while. And if I was going to be that type of movie star, that's kind of what I would want to be. But I also kind of have seen him like lose his privacy over the last month, and I definitely don't want that too. So I kind of, at the end of the day, as crazy as it sounds, I kind of prefer being a lead in a smaller movie like this, and I can still, you know, go to Torchy's and get tacos, and like, it's fine. Like, nobody knows who I am, and I like that.
So then we won't be seeing Mark Duplass in leading a Marvel movie anytime soon.
Well, I mean, no, because they're not offering it to me. And then if they come and offer it to me, I'm probably not going to be able to turn it down. And then you can call me on that when I come see you next year.
So this film is a bit of a delicate ballet of back and forth. Now, did that have any challenges directing, just kind of approaching that and without giving too much away, like keeping everything?
Yeah, it was a lot. We talked about this earlier, how it was just kind of the biggest challenge for me was kind of overseeing the entire thing and making sure that it all worked, because we have, you know, it's a drama, it's a comedy, it's romance, there's sci-fi, there's mystery. And so it's like all of these different genres, and we were hoping that they all sort of would coexist together, but we didn't really have something to look at and say, that's what it is, you know? And so for me, it was like, how do we, in a very short period of time, we shot in 15 days, how do we like make sure that like all the character stuff is hitting, all the plotting stuff is hitting, tonally that everything's working, and then we had some special effects, and so it felt like a lot for a first film for me to tackle, but that also is what really excited me. And ultimately, I felt like I wanted to go down swinging, you know, and that was sort of the first movie I wanted to make, and Mark really wanted to kind of push the envelope in these small little kind of intimate movies, and so I think we did it, and we were really excited about it.
I think it's a really great, strong debut. We're all looking forward to see what the next one is.
Thank you.
So the League's 6th season is coming out, and people want to know, what are the chances the Cowboys are going to be in the Super Bowl this year?
Well, I am in a unique position to know this, because as a fantasy football or as a person who plays a fantasy football enthusiast on TV, I definitely know who's going to be in the Super Bowl for sure. If I had to make a prediction this year, I think there's going to be some surprises. I think that the Saints are going to have a big year. Look, they've been good for a while, but this is going to be a big year for them. And I think that Detroit is going to have a very big year. I think that Reggie Bush is going to be the linchpin that takes them to new places. So Cowboys, love the team. A lot of great players on there. In my personal, humble opinion, I think that something is going to have to happen to Tony Romo in therapy or otherwise that allows him to perform differently in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. And until he fixes that, they're never going to be a Super Bowl team. Good
to know. So, Mark, you and our founder, Bernie Burns, go way back. Tell us a little bit Tell the audience a little bit about how you guys know each other.
Well, Bernie Burns, as much as he sounds like a Coen Brothers gangster character, is an actual real person. Bernie Burns! I gotta go to Bernie Burns! Is an old friend from Austin. And I was saying before, I mean, I literally used to edit movies in this office. In the mid-'90s, my brother and I ran a post house, and there were very few filmmaking businesses around, and none of us made any money. And Bernie and Matt ran a company called Rooster Teeth, and we became friends with them because we were all suffering and struggling together. And then we came to Austin like 10 years after that to make our movie Baghead, after we had been living in LA for a while. And we were making it very cheaply, and we had our old camera that we made the puffy chair on. And we heard that Burnie had this brand spanking new Panasonic HVX 200 camera, which now it looks like a dinosaur, but at the time was hot shit. So we're like, can we ask Burnie to borrow the camera? Like, we haven't talked to him in a while. And we called him up, and literally he showed up with the camera and P2 cards and let us use it for free. It was a huge part of making that movie. So Bernie Burns, Coen Brothers Gangster. Thank you. Hello, lads. How are you? Look up from your consoles and look into my eyes right now. There's a movie coming your way called The One I Love. It's being labeled as a romantic comedy, but it's something completely different. I guarantee you, if you get off of your device and you watch this movie, you'll have a small part of your mind blown.
And I will also add that Mark Duplass has his shirt off twice in the movie, and it's pretty spectacular.
Pretty?
It's spectacular.